All right, everyone, welcome to yet another live stream. Woody, you look like you're struggling.
Dude, I just got through a severe flood.
Uh huh.
I'm not joking. I have a lot of video of it. And this is what it looks like today.
Wow,
There's the
that's
Ritz guy. He hooked me up with a chair to the back of me.
looking.
There's the Ritz Carlton right on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Told him he's a big diver from the Philippines, so he's like, "Here's a chair." He put me under these palm trees.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, welcome everyone to yet another live stream. Um, we don't really have an agenda for today, except we want to give away some stuff. But the main thing is we haven't released videos for like 10 days now, which people are like panicking. Somebody
Is that my
mess.
pina coladas?
You don't drink pina coladas. Stop.
Oh,
Um,
I may start.
but somebody messaged me. He's like, "Are you guys in a hiatus?" No, we're just on vacation. Like I was on vacation last week in Destin, Florida. Beautiful place, by the way.
Yeah, it is beautiful. You're lucky. You've been on vacation. I'm sitting here working.
Yeah. But anyway, we have. Yeah, you look. Been sitting here
It's
working.
tiring.
But next week we're gonna get together and we're gonna record some content, which is pretty exciting. And also,
Definitely.
I wanted to plug the Time to Dive virtual event that you and I are hosting, which is great.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
approached us to host the event this year. Somebody hosted it last year. But anyway, if you're interested, check out on Facebook, I believe, where they have the event page, April 27 and 28. It's like a whole day, 2 whole days of talking about scuba diving, which is great. And a lot of manufacturers come on and talk about their new products and stuff, which is really exciting. So Woody and I will be
Look,
hosting. And
look forward to it.
by hosting, we mean trying to hustle free things to give away on the channel.
I mean, I'll throw out a technical term here or there. It won't necessarily have any relevance to what they're saying, which happens sometimes.
Right,
Um, but we got to say something,
right. I mean, once in a
and
while,
then
right?
I'll be
Just
like,
throw it
God,
out.
that manifold is amazing. Do you have an extra rag I could maybe have?
Exactly. Everything we get, we're gonna give away.
Of course.
So it's gonna be great. All right. Do you guys have any questions? By the way, any questions for us?
Yeah, I've
we've
been
been going
talking.
for too
It's
long.
pretty interesting. While the questions are queuing up, all these cargo ships are lined up, no joking,
Yeah.
because the Port Everglades, the main port, it's just a couple miles from here, was literally flooded out. Like there was
Hmm.
so much water pouring out and they had nowhere to go. So they had to back up all the cargo ships and everything. It
Yeah.
was unbelievable. And my car, I literally was driving down 17th Street Causeway during the flood trying to get to my hotel, and the water got so high, it started to push my car forward. I was starting to float. I jumped behind a bus. I'm not kidding you. A city bus was plowing through, and I sort of rode his
On the
parting
wake.
of the water. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the wake, enough to give me traction to just skirt into my hotel. It was, I mean, I have video of all this. I may post it on Dive Talk. I'll put them together. And
Nice.
it ends with the video of the Fort Lauderdale airport. You all will think I'm filming a lake. You'll be like, why are you just taking pictures of a lake with cars floating on it? That's the runways.
That's right. Okay,
Crazy.
so we have a couple of questions. Number one is where can we sign up for classes with Woody?
Well, I mean, first of all, thank you. I mean, Gus and I are both instructors, so but what we're really doing, what we're planning, Gus and I are working on it. It's a pretty big project, is to have sort of a Dive Talk preferred instructor list. I know a lot of you guys know Terry from Scuba Girls International. She's on probably
She
now.
is.
She will be one of our instructors. She's phenomenal. So it won't necessarily be with us, but it would be with one of our preferred instructors. And then we're going to announce a group of classes where ultimately we have those sort of preferred instructors all around the world. Some classes that we are working on, namely enriched air, some call it nitrox, we are working on a worldwide virtual nitrox class where you can get your entire nitrox certification with Gus and I. We'll teach the class virtually. We may even have Doug Ebersol co-teaching that with us. So that there's some things in the works with that. I know there's some software we need to set up and stuff, but that's a long answer to your question. As honored as I am, I'm just time commitment is a little bit of a worry right now.
Yeah, but we are looking to having a virtual Nitrox class. I hope you guys join us because it's gonna be awesome. All right. So someone asked me why did I change from the Sidewinder to the Sidekick? I didn't change from the Sidewinder to the Sidekick. I'm just now also able to dive the Sidekick, but I don't own one yet. Will I own one in the future? Probably, and I'll dive it too. But it would be an extra rebreather. It wouldn't be a replacement to the Sidewinder. I love the Sidewinder. As a matter of fact, I've been spending a lot of time improving it even more for the trips that we have coming up. So I'm not
Wow,
stopping
maybe you could
Sidewinder
maybe
anytime
you
soon.
could implement some of your improvements onto my Sidewinder. You're really good at that. Your
Well,
tweaks are really good.
and actually in relationship with that, Brandon is asking what made us go from the K2 to the X Deep. Just from my
Oh,
perspective, I haven't switched to the X Deep. I'm still diving the K2, but I'm actually looking forward to trying the new Dive Ride Nomad Ray. They came up with a new wing, and we're currently in conversations with them to see if we can give it a test. I don't think Woody and I are super married to one product or another. We're not sponsored by any
exactly.
company. We dive what works for us. And for
Yes.
some reason, Woody's body type fits the X Deep better than
That's
mine,
it.
and the Katana 2 fits me better. So we just happen to dive Katana and XD, but nothing specific.
Perfect.
They're not paying
Perfect.
us to
Nothing.
right. If they were gonna pay
No, no,
somebody,
yeah,
it
no, no,
wouldn't
no,
be us.
no, it wouldn't be us,
That's for sure.
and I have nothing to add to that. They're they're not one. I would not use the word one is better than the other. They're very good. They're
Yeah,
designed. All of those are designed by guys that are way better than me or to even think about being able to tell you which one's better. It's just I was lucky, frankly, and got the opportunity to try the XD. Gus, you may remember I was always sort of complaining that I just felt like the Katana 2 was.
yeah,
I'm small. I'm small frame. It was just it's amazing the Katana 2 was just big on me. Like
yeah.
no matter what I did, it was big. And the X Deep sort of it's more wraps around my body a little tighter for me, and that's it. That there is no other reason other than that.
A few questions about the Sidewinder 2. I would say stay tuned for the virtual show that I mentioned about April 27th and 28th because Kiss will be there and they will be talking about Sidewinder 2. But as far as I know, the Sidewinder 2 is not in production yet. I believe there might be only one unit, which is the prototype unit out there, which is where you see all the videos and all that stuff out there. So no, we haven't tried it. Will we try it? Once it goes into production, probably. I would hope so that we get an opportunity to try. Will we switch? Probably not. If anything, we will add it as an extra, Sidewinder 1, Sidewinder 2 thing and do one or the other. But I look forward to trying it. We just haven't had the chance to do it.
Yeah. Patrick Widman, I think, honestly, is the only one diving it right now. Ed Sorensen may, I think, had an opportunity to test the prototype with him and obviously put in some suggestions to what he thought would be best for it.
This is an interesting question. What's the shout out to Richard? What is the most expensive piece of gear that you regretted purchasing?
Yeah, I think I have one.
Hmm. Okay, let's hear
Well,
it.
I don't know about, I don't like the word regret. Can I say the most expensive gear that I purchased that I find no longer that I want to use it, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't regret it.
Yeah.
And and it's going to be a surprise because I'm a big fan of their products.
Okay.
I do not like having the Nerd 2
Oh,
in my eye when I'm cave diving. I
interesting.
don't use it and I find myself not even really using it in the ocean. The product is amazing. It is a heads up display, and we could launch a whole debate here on should we or should we not have a HUD display when we cave dive, right? Oh my goodness, there's some that are like you're gonna die if you don't have one.
Yeah.
We both. It happens that we both don't dive it
That's right.
when we both don't use a heads up display when we're cave diving. I mean, I just go like this, by the way. I know my PO2.
Right.
And so I don't regret it, but I don't use it anymore because I just don't find it to be beneficial. It's more distracting than anything else. But I don't regret it.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think in terms of regretting something, there are some things that I've bought just to have them. Like it would be cool to have them, and then later on, I never use them. Like I have what's those foldable snorkels because I don't like having the snorkel on my site. So I bought one of those that folds into like this big circle, and you can have in your pocket. I never use that thing. I still have it. I don't know where it is. I think it's in my scuba closet, but of course, it's like a $15 investment. It's not a lot. I don't have anything expensive that I'm like, why did I buy that regulator or something? I've always used everything I have. So, all
that's a
right.
good question. Cool
Uh,
question.
Terry's asking if you're going to get another bike.
Well, first of all, I've been doing a lot of bicycle biking
Terrible.
all over the place.
Awful.
And I want you to do it with me. I enjoy doing stuff with you, Gus. You know that, but
Yeah.
we'll see. But I love being on my motorcycle when I'm with Gus and he and I have our helmets on and we go on journeys. I got to tell you, it is really relaxing. But the bike that I currently sold. Number one, I'm just crazy busy,
Yeah.
and it wasn't comfortable. I was I don't know. Mine didn't have like a back like yours had, Gus,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Backrest. Yeah.
it just it was really bothering my comfort level. So then I went out and tested the big boy Indian. I think it was called
Yeah.
Challenger, maybe
You got on the
was it?
Challenger. Yeah.
And it is heaven. So I probably safe to say that's the one I'm going to buy,
Yeah.
and it's mainly because of comfort. I want to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable when I ride. I'm totally comfortable. I love motorcycles.
Yeah. You should get
It
one so we can go riding. Now that I got mine.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did you
You already have
guys?
yours?
Oh
Does yours
yeah.
come in?
Oh yeah. I
Oh,
already
awesome.
put like almost
Beautiful.
400 miles on that thing. It's awesome.
Nice.
I got an Indian Pursuit, by the way. It's like the Challenger, but with
Mm.
the touring pack, so I can have a
So it
passenger.
has like the two seats in the back. Is that what it has?
It's the same bike, yeah, the same as the Challenger,
Beautiful.
just with a backrest. Anyway, okay, so let's see. Somebody asked if we have tried the Apple Watch in dives. Have you tried it yet?
No, I want to wait and do that with Gus.
Yeah,
We have a plan to do that and take it really deep. And I like the idea that Gus and I came up with, which is have it on our wrist while we also have the Shearwater,
yeah,
probably the Tarek right
yep,
next to it. And we're seeing what they both are doing together, but we are going to take it beyond its recreational depth limit because I kind of
yeah.
want to see what it does with that as well.
We're gonna put it side by side with the Shearwater Tarek. We're gonna put it side by side with this thing, the Mars Puck, which is a very popular, very inexpensive computer, most people's first dive computer. And we also have the Deep Six computer, which is like $300 or so, which is a little technical computer. It looks like a watch. So we're gonna put them all side by side and test it. Fun fact though, I was in Jamaica and I had the opportunity to go on a dive and I didn't bring any of my stuff. It was just like, you want to go diving? And I'm like, I didn't bring anything. And I actually paid for the 1 day Oceanic Plus app to use my Apple Watch as my computer. And I used it in one dive. And I will tell you my thoughts when we get to the video. But
Yeah, save it. Save that.
I won't be
don't
getting
say it
rid
yet.
of my Tarek anytime soon. I'll just say that.
No, I think Shearwater has a little more experience with this stuff than anybody else right now. So
Yeah. Um, let's see. Yeah, foldable fins. We will be testing those. Come to Seattle. That would be cool.
okay, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I like Seattle. I've been there a few times.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Sean Holland asks if we are instructor trainers with INTD. Yes,
Yes,
Woody is
yes.
instructor trainer.
And we're gonna be. I became an IE with them,
Mm-hmm.
and Gus can do instructor training as well. It'd be fun if we did some of that together. But I will be able to cross instructors over, and we have one planned soon.
Yep.
Actually, a crossover.
What is the number one place you want to dive that you have never been to yet? I mean, there's so many. I would love to do Devil's Hole in Nevada. I would love to do Indian Springs in Florida. I mean, there's just too many. I would like to go to the Britannic. Yeah, the list is long.
So hard for me on that question.
But
I've
there's
been
a
all through
hole, by the
Southeast
way.
Asia. I probably would
Yeah.
want to go to that oil rig that's in Southeast Asia. I just forgot the name of it. It's supposed to be some of the best diving in the world. They took an oil rig and they made it like you sleep on it and everything. And you just spend like 4 or 5 days there diving. They lower you on a big elevator. Gosh, my brain just blanked out on the name. My friend Summer dove there. She said it was incredible.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot the name.
By the way, somebody was talking about studies they're doing with chambers and stuff like that. A couple of weeks ago, I was on a chamber. I went on a chamber ride. It wasn't because I was bent. It's because they were filming a documentary for the Weather Channel. They invited me. They're like, do you want to be an extra in this show? And, of course, I say yes. I wore my Dive Talk t-shirt for it.
Nice.
And they did this documentary, and I went on a chamber ride. We went to 45 feet in the chamber, and it's so cool. It's really, really cool. The cool thing about it is you feel how the inside of a tank feels when you're filling it or emptying it. When you're going down in depth, it gets really hot. Like they're pumping air right into this thing and compressing it. You get really hot, and then as you're coming up, you start to freeze. Like, and you see the breath and everything. It's super cold. It's so cool. Really like it.
Which principle do you think that was, by the way? Charles.
Let's not get into
Charles's. It is related to Charles's principle of
a fun anecdote. A fun anecdote about the shooting, by the way, is that I was just supposed to be an extra and not talk. But then I met the producers and they got to talk to me and they were like, "Hey, can we interview you?" So they did an interview, and it took an unexpected turn, let's just say. So I don't know if they're gonna air or not, but we ended up talking about death and all kinds of ugly things. So I don't know if they're gonna put it in the documentary, but catch it on the Weather Channel. I don't know when it's coming out. Look it up. It's
all the seaweed from the storm.
Yeah.
All this came washing up. They'll do a beach cleanup. Now look at the beach. People are like, okay, the flood is over. It's going to be amazing. Look at all these ships.
Thank you, Business Recipe, for your super chat. Is cave diving attainable to a working class man? Yeah, I am a working class man, and I am a cave diver. Absolutely. Let's see what else.
Maybe I think specifically they're like talking about the cost probably.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked me that the other day in a private messaging as well. Like, they were being charged like I think it was between $250 and $350 a day for their cave instructor. And I think that was reasonable because from 0 to hero, you could spend a good 10 to 12 days. And I do think that's reasonable. I think that a cave instructor, in my opinion, is taking on some of the biggest risks and responsibilities and time commitment of any class you will ever take as it relates to scuba diving. They're going to spend probably 10 hours a day with you. That's absolutely worth, $25 to $35 an hour to have a world-class cave instructor with you for 10 to 12 days.
Yeah. Have we ever dived the caves underneath Budapest? No, not yet, but we want to. We really want to. That's for sure. All right, so let's talk about the giveaway as well. And this is courtesy of Mike Young, by the way. So shout out to Mike, a really good friend of the show. We have these beautiful shark teeth that come with a pendant, as you can see right here. And you can put them on a necklace. This one is, if I can cover my face, hold on. If I can get it, there it is. Okay. So that's pretty cool. So we have 4 of those, right? 4 teeth. You can show them. And then we have a bigger one. Put it right here, which will be the main prize.
And those are pretty expensive, everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
those could be quite pricey on eBay and so forth. And it's kind of cool that Mike found those himself.
Yep. This one is sterling silver and it's a great white shark teeth or tooth, and it's awesome. You see, it has the thing for the necklace to go in, and it will look pretty badass, I think. So we have 5 total ones, and I haven't thought of a way to giving them away, but we're gonna give away 5. So I'm gonna think about it in a second. Let me see if I have another question here. Um. Any questions? Yeah, just make sure you're publicly subscribed. So thank you, Mike, for reminding everyone of that. Steve is asking if you got flooded out, Woody.
Uh, well, I was out to dinner with my friends in Plantation, which is west, and I it was pouring rain, so I had to drive. I didn't have to, but I will be honest with you, I'm a little bit immature like that. I wanted to. I'm like, I got to drive in this. So I decided to drive east back to my hotel, which is on the 17th Street Causeway, not far from the beach. As I approached and crossed over the main bridge onto the island that becomes sort of where the beach area is, the water behind me was so high and rising so fast, started to lift up my car and push it forward. And then I scooched behind a bus to get into my hotel. I almost got flooded out. There were cars drifting by right next to me. I'm like, bye bye, as they're floating by. Literally. The water rose so fast. It's
Mm-hmm.
the most rain in 1 hour that Fort Lauderdale has ever had, including when Hurricane Andrew sat right over us in the 80s. More rain in that 1 hour than even that.
Wow.
Incredible. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. A couple more questions here. Would you recommend tech before cave or cave before tech? That's a weird question. I mean, you have to be a tech diver to train to become a cave diver. So there's no way to do cave before tech. I mean, you can always do anything once, but no. You want to be a tech diver, side mount, doubles, rebreather, etc. before you can become a cave diver.
Mm-hmm.
What is a cheap way to get dive experience if I live in a landlocked state? Good question.
They probably have quarries. A lot of states have quarries, that you could practice in.
Yep.
Most landlocked states do have diving, whether it's lakes or quarries. It's cold typically, so you probably want to be dry suit certified as well.
Approximately how much money do you have in your complete dive setup? I have no idea.
I try my best not to think about it anymore.
Okay. If you ask if this is my wife with a different account, I have $100 worth of gear.
That's hilarious. Yeah. How much is all that worth, Woody? Because it's taking up the
$100.
whole garage and our storage unit. I'm like, well, I mean, it's
75.
probably somewhere between 300 to 400 bucks. So I spent a lot.
Tops. What reg set would you guys recommend for side mount setup? I mean, it's hard. Regulators have gotten so good now that even like cheap regulators, like some people buy like very inexpensive regulators from like Dive Right. They're really good. I mean, people take those regulators in all kinds of cave dives and stuff like that. So it's hard. We've been really happy with Deep Six regulators. They've been very supportive of Dive Talk, and they kind of send us each a set of regulators, and they were like, just try them. If you don't like them, don't use them. No strings attached or whatever. And then we tried them, and it was like, wow, these things are legit. As a matter of fact, I only dive Deep Six now. I switch my open circuit regulators to Deep Six, like just recreational ones. I switch my Sidewinder regulators to Deep Six, my Spirit regulators to Deep Six. Everything I do is now Deep Six. Even I had some Dive Right oxygen regulators for my stage or whatever, my 100% oxygen tank. Deep Six offered to change those too. So Everything I do is Deep Six now. But doesn't mean the other ones are bad. It's just Deep Six are good too.
And I also have changed. I'm trying to think if I have any other regulators on my setup anymore. I think they're all deep six as well.
Yeah.
And just because for me, I'm weird. Like I cannot tell the difference that much. Like if you blindfolded me, like you know how they do like a taste test with water or something. I think if you did blindfolded me and I did a regulator test between the different ones, I don't know if I could really tell.
Yeah.
But I know how the deep six regulators are made because they showed us and how they service them. And they've been so supportive of us that I feel like I want to give back to them. And so I went fully that way as well.
Yeah, and we actually had this idea back in the day when we were working at a dive store, and our idea was let's blindfold us and let's bring in like 5 regulators, and we're gonna breathe out of all of them without touching them. Just like put it in your mouth, breathe, 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 blind it, and then we were all gonna vote for our favorites, and we were gonna have like all the instructors at the shop do that. But at the end, we didn't end up recording it. Number one, because I don't know if it's gonna be very entertaining to look at this. But number two, they were afraid that the regulator that would win was something they wouldn't sell because we were gonna, try all these different brands, stuff they sold, stuff they didn't sell, and they were like, well, what if? Because dive shops work like this, a lot of them. They're like, what if the one that wins is something we don't sell? It's like, well, I mean, that's not the purpose of the video. Our job,
Right.
our job is to pick the best regulator blindly. Who cares if we sell it or not?
Maybe we'll do that though.
They
We could
didn't
do
like
that
it.
with like me and Gus, maybe Terry, you could join us. Like we'll
Yeah,
get a few of us that are
let's
well,
get Sean
frankly
Holland too.
impartial. We don't sell any regulators, so we're just gonna be straight up. I'm tell you,
Yeah.
this one felt the best to me.
We get Sean and Militia, and we get Doug Eversole, and we just do a blind taste of regulators. Which ones do we like best? And we'll see.
Parasailing.
And if somebody steals that idea, you saw it here first. So you call them out. That was my idea. Let's see. Yep, Hawk Rex. To be honest, a lot of we learned this by being in the industry now. A lot of the regulators and masks and fins and all that stuff are made by like the same factory in Hong Kong or whatever, or China or Thailand or whatever the country is, but there's always like one big factory that makes most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. So a lot of them come from the
Yeah,
same place and they're all good.
and that hog regulator, I think, is very similar to the deep six regulators. I've been told, like similar parts, maybe made in the same factories, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sleeping, by the way. I just want you to know I'm resting my head and eyes but I'm listening and talking at the same time.
Oh, this is a good question. It was in Spanish, but he says, without counting the cookies, the cave diving cookies, what is the cheapest thing that we own in our gear? I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I guess our fins, our mask. I don't know.
Snorkel keeper.
Oh my
I
god.
snorkel.
All right.
I don't know. Main primary gear stuff. Probably the masks or something like that.
Yeah. And that's a good observation. Somebody says Hollis Rex look the best. Yeah, a lot of it, to be honest, is not so much about reliability. It's about what you like. Do you like the look as well? Some people don't like, let's say, the Poseidon regulators that are more, long and they're not, rounded, and they just don't like how those look. Some people love the fact that they're different. It's all a matter of looks in some cases. Just like knives. Sometimes you just like how a knife looks, and it's not so much because of its capabilities. They all cut stuff. You like this knife right here. Look, I'll show you. It's badass. Looks awesome. It just looks. Okay, let's see. Pretty happy with most of my equipment. Great. I use the Aqualung mouthpiece. By the way, I replaced, I think you did this as well, Woody. We replaced the mouthpieces on the rebreathers with Deep Six mouthpieces. They seem to be pretty reliable.
Yes.
What type of line do you put in your reels? I like the Dyneema type of force strength. Yeah, the problem is the Dyneema line is 6 times more expensive than regular line. And I think that if you have reels or spools and you're only going to use them for emergencies, you're not going to be laying line or anything like that, sure, make the investment and pay that. But if you're going to be putting line, like I remember on my cave and cavern diving classes and cave, the dog will literally make me lay line and cut it and make me repair it and stuff. If you're doing that, then you don't want to use super expensive line. So we use number 18 polyester line, which is not as expensive. Super strong still, but not as expensive.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize it was that much more expensive. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, 6 times. It's very expensive. By the way, I don't know if I told you this, but last night, for some reason I went to sleep with the Dive Talk credit card, and I mean, accidentally slash on purpose bought 32,000 feet of line.
That's so weird. It's so funny you said that, because this morning when I was preparing for this and charging my giant meal onto the Dive Talk credit card,
wait.
It didn't work. No, it's been preparation.
That's
you see, and I had to pay, and this chair didn't. The $20 that I gave him, he took credit card.
That's terrible.
The company expense.
But I bought 32,800 feet of line, and
oh my God,
we need to knot that.
It's funny.
So we might do like a barbecue and invite people to help us.
So by the year 2030, we should be all done with that project.
We'll have laid all that line somewhere.
Funny.
Let's see. All right, some people saying they're gonna get certified. That's awesome. Somebody asked earlier. I'm gonna let you answer this so I can think of how do we give away this teeth. Somebody asked earlier, what is your why for cave diving? Like, why do you cave dive?
I was just talking to Doug Ebersol about that on the phone 2 days ago. And for me, it wasn't just to see one particular cave. Like I know Gus will be like, well, my goal was to see the crystal caves of the Bahamas.
Yes.
Which is amazing. And I actually got my cave certification from Brian Hancock in the crystal caves, but that wasn't the reason why. I think I was intrigued by all of the cave community really preaching for years how much better your technique will become overall as a diver if you become cave certified. I wasn't convinced of it. I was intrigued by that. Now I am convinced of it. So before I was like, is it really going to make me that much better of a diver? Now that I have become cave certified, I can absolutely say the answer to that question is yes. What's my favorite kind of diving still, to be honest, is jumping off of a boat on a warm, sunny day like this in Fort Lauderdale and just diving right here in the warm waters of Fort Lauderdale. That really still is my favorite. But I love cave diving, and I love the technique, and I love having to think about it and configuring the gear properly and seeing parts of the world that nobody else sees. I do love that. And again, I do believe for me, it did make me a better diver. It really did. That's my multi-part answer.
And I think that's a good segue into the giveaway. What I want to do is, number one, obviously make sure you're publicly subscribed to Dive Talk. But after this live stream is over, don't do it now. You can do it now if you want. But after this live stream is over, I want you to come back to this video and drop a comment telling us whether you would like to become a cave diver and why. And also, if you're already a cave diver, why are you a cave diver? Why do you become a cave diver? So just leave it down below, and then we'll select 5 people on a different live stream or another video to give away the teeth. And once again, I just want to make sure, this goes without saying, we will never charge you any money to send you one of these shark teeth, ever, right? So if you see anyone below asking you to contact them via Telegram or something like that, trying to get money from you for shipping, that is a scammer. they have been trying to scam subscribers of this channel for a long time. So please don't fall for the scam.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Where in Florida are we from? We are not from Florida. Well, Woody is from Florida. He's in Florida right now, but I live in Georgia.
I am presently sitting here on this chair exactly where I'm from. I was born, I would say, 2 miles from here. 2 miles at Broward General Hospital, which is just not much more than about 2 miles from the beach here. I literally grew up right here on Fort Lauderdale Beach.
That's nice.
Born and raised.
I should be
born and raised.
Florida. It sounds
I agree.
Nice.
You should be. I want you to be.
Yeah.
That's the Ritz-Carlton in back of me on Fort Lauderdale Beach, right there. That is the Ritz. Beautiful, by the way. Great food. And they took the Dive Talk credit card. It was cool. I wasn't sure if it would, go through, but they seem to have no problem with it.
I just call to get it canceled. Thank you. Let's see. Somebody asked, have you guys ever considered diving in the Alps? That are caves, I guess. Greetings from Switzerland.
I didn't know there was. I did hear there was cave diving there. I did hear that recently. I've snow skied there a ton, but no, I never considered cave diving there. I didn't.
Yeah. Somebody says if we are always working in trim and buoyancy, or do we stop at some point? Always working.
I think every time I go, I'll tell myself I'm not going to care about it, and then I find myself caring about it every time.
Yeah. Obviously, you get a lot of help from your gear and how it's configured. Like Woody and I recently had the opportunity to try a new rebreather, kind of a toy that Mike Young made, and he invited us to be the first ones to try it. And man, I put that thing on, and you did too, Woody, and we were instantly on trim. Like, it was so good. He did such a good job with that thing.
It's chest mounted, so it just boom throws you in trim. I call it the Mini, the Kiss Mini. So I know it's not its official name, and nobody has to call it that. I don't know why. It's adorable, cute little mini rebreather, and it breathes them. The work of breathing on it, by the way, is off the chart.
Yeah.
And he's made some modifications, Gus. I have those. I'll bring them over when I see you next week.
That's cool.
He's changed the counter lungs and resent them to me and all that, so I'll bring it over.
I am still trying my best to convince him to let me have one of those minis for the meetup. I think that would be great for Cozumel. Just click and go. It'd be great.
I know. I want to bring this mini, and if you had one, then that would be kind of nice, right?
Absolutely.
Neil, I need a BC to clip them to, though. I need
yeah.
Maybe that one you're talking about that you just mentioned at the beginning of the show that you're going to try for the Sidewinder.
Yeah.
I bet you that thing would be perfect for the Mini.
Yeah, that would be great. Neil is saying, I earned my apprentice cave certification last week with Medi. He has made me a much better diver. Still have some work to do, of course, but Medi's awesome.
Awesome. I love Medi, and he helped me a ton as well. He really, really helped me with my DPB cave cert. I think Gus probably would say the same, and he's great. He's just great to learn from. Positive attitude. And yeah, they're amazing at cave adventures.
Yep, absolutely. Just recently got certified, but we love to get cave certified because it's done lots of dry caving back in the day. Yeah, I think we still do have a good friend, David Vigiano, who was dry caving for like decades before he became a cave diver, and he absolutely loved it. You marrying the two, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. When are you all going back to Woody's room? That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't want to say. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. Maybe someday.
Pretty sure.
Any place I can try CCR on a KISS unit that you know of? Absolutely. A lot of places. We actually did try rebreather during our first meetup in Florida last year. So, yeah, you can definitely try CCR. All right, let's answer a few more questions. Hopefully everyone now is clear on how the giveaway works. All right. Will you be diving in Europe sometime soon? No, but we do have a trip coming up in May. It's just not to Europe. I wish it was. But I'm also excited where we're going. So when is the blue hole dive? The blue hole in the Hab, I guess you're talking, because there's also a blue hole in Belize. Neither one of them are in the calendar. I would love to do both. Dude, going to the bottom of the blue hole in Belize would be cool. It's like 400 feet. That would be nice.
Wow.
We took the
That
Abyss.
would be really cool.
Let's get Mike to make a couple of Abyss and take him down there. That'll be awesome. Dive book recommendations. There's a couple of dive books out there that are really great. You know, recently somebody asked me about a recommendation for a book, and I was thinking about, it wasn't a dive book, it was just a book, period. I was thinking about really good books that I really enjoy and like kind of change my life in a way. And there's a book called Fearless by a guy named Eric Blem. Totally recommended if you guys look into that. Especially if you're patriotic, if you support the military and stuff like that. It's a book, you know, kind of about someone named Adam Brown, and it's about he was a Navy SEAL. So go ahead and check it out. Really
I would
nice.
recommend The Education of a Cave Diver.
Hmm.
It just came out by Guy Bryant. They sent me a copy for free, and I read it.
Oh.
And it's fantastic, and it has a lot of input from various real world-class cave instructors. It's great, everybody. If you really want to get what it really feels like to cave dive and the process and all of that, I would do that.
Nice. Is there any way as an advanced open water diver to try out rebreathers just like a trial dive for scuba? Yeah, we just talked about
Yes.
there's try rebreathers out there.
It's in confined water. That's just going to be the limitations of any of the agencies. So you would be trying it in a swimming pool or confined water.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Heidi's asking if she can come and sit on the beach with you, Woody.
Yeah. I mean, public beach, anybody can come and chill. Beautiful. There's a gazillion chairs ready to be set up. There they all are.
This is a good question. Would you ever go deeper than 500 feet? I mean, the challenge with those deep dives is that, number one, there's like no light at that level, so you're relying on your lights to be able to see stuff, which is not a big deal. But the big deal is the deco, because I assume that for every minute you spend at 500 feet, it would be like 30 minutes of deco that you have to spend, you know,
at least,
on the
at
way.
least.
It's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think the gear is a challenge as well. We would need what are called expedition level rebreathers that are meant for that, because we can't risk having our constant mass flow, which is basically a fancy way of saying the continuous flow of O2 into the rebreather loop. Mm-hmm. We can't have that thing flowing oxygen into the rebreather at 500 feet, because that could spike your PO2 to dead instantly. I mean, you could just do the math and you could be convulsing. So you'd have to have a special rebreather for that purpose. So that's just one of the things that it would have to control.
Yeah. Miranda is asking, how often do you guys check your P.O. box? Typically when we get something,
Oh, I know what she's asking. I haven't been home. I know she sent us something, Gus, very special.
Okay.
I believe it's her, and I will be doing that Monday.
Okay.
And I apologize. I know there is something there.
All right. She didn't send it to the Dive Talk P.O. box. It was like a separate P.O. box then.
Yes.
Yeah.
She reached out to me, and I just gave her mine.
Yeah.
And it's going to be pretty cool. We'll show it. When we get it, we'll show it. I think we'll both enjoy it.
Was there a piece of gear that surprised you on how much you liked it? The Deep Six Eddy fins blew me away. And it blew me away because I really, really like my Apex RK3s. I didn't think that there were better fins in the world. I'm like, better than the RK3s? Get out of here. And then in one boat dive, I think it was you, Woody, you like convinced me. You're like, dude, just try them.
I just
At
wanted you to
least so
try
you
because
can, yeah,
yeah, because of what it did for me. I'm like, Gus, I want you to try it because I want you to experience how much better it helped me. And then you were like, wow, unbelievable. I mean, how about back flutter kicking in those
it's
things? It's
unbelievable.
so much easier. I don't know how he did that.
But the
How they
funny thing is
designed
that I
that.
was like, but the RK3s are already perfect. Why would I try something that I know it won't be better? And then I put those on and I'm like, oh my God, RK3s are
I know.
garbage compared with
It's
this.
amazing. Really
That was
amazing.
very surprising. Yeah. The sidekick also surprised me, but it's because of how hard it is to dive and control. It really is not the first rebreather you should dive. Like you have to have a lot of experience, I think, before you start trying to dive the sidekick. It's very moody. It's like controlling a bronco, like out of control. It's hard, but that's what attracts me to it. It's hard to dive, but once you get it, it works great. So the sidekick also surprised me. Are you guys into climbing? Oh, you like this one?
Yes, I am craving it. My friends just invited me to go on another big climb with them. I just haven't been climbing in a while, and I keep watching their videos. I love the technique of climbing, the freedom of being up there. It's awesome. So, yes, I really love it.
Have you guys ever been part of a search and recovery, like really deep, like a plane crash or something? No, we have not.
Yeah.
We haven't been part of that. Tips on frog kicking. Having a hard time
I
learning them. The
Yeah, it's just hard to give tips. Oh, like this, right? Um, the person that showed me the best way to teach frog kicks is Patrick Widman,
mm-hmm.
and I would lay you down on a table, just on your stomach,
Yeah.
and I could show somebody and then move your legs in while laying down on a table. But it also helps to visualize that. Imagine you want the fins to scoop the water so the water is being pushed backwards, right? Well, in order to do that, you've got to move your legs in a position where it's not moving you forward and then change the blade to push the water, which will start moving you backwards, right? Doesn't that make sense? So move the fins back so that you can turn them to push.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're pushing both ways, you're just going to go back and forth, back and forth. So move them like this and then push the water with them,
Yeah.
scoop the water with them. So pull them back, scoop. Well,
So
it's like an ankle movement more than anything else.
the tip I give people is basically what I did, which is I made a commitment to not kick anything but frog kicking. So that's what I did. I said, look, I'm terrible at it.
I was teaching the backwards frog
Yeah.
kick just then. I
And
didn't
the
mean regular
backwards one
frog
is the
kick.
same.
Sorry.
So I remember swimming behind Doug during my cave diving class and being like, how is he so fast frog kicking? Like I have to flutter to be able to catch up with him, and you don't want to flutter in a cave. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna frog kick, and that's it. That's all I'm doing. And then little by little, you pick it up and you get better at it. Your body just finds a way to do it better, and you just pick it up. The same thing backwards. I remember going to Blue Grotto and going to the 20-foot platform and just starting in one end and like backing poorly, like bad up and down and moving and all this stuff. Once I got to the end and my legs were hurting, just turn around and back the other way and back the other way and just do laps and laps and laps and laps over and over and over and over again. And it just starts to get easier. Just like everything. You just have to practice.
And doesn't frog kicking now feel better to you than flutter kicking? So you will switch. After your frog kick for a while, it's gonna feel weird to flutter kick. Like I can't flutter kick anymore. It's so weird. I only frog kick, even when I'm in the ocean. Unless I'm against a really strong current and have to power through it.
Yeah.
But that's great. What Gus said, honestly, this is practice.
What was the hardest skill to learn out of every course you did? That's a good question. The hardest skill out of any class. It has to be DPV Cave. One of the things in DPV Cave. For sure.
Yeah. That was
so
to maintain perfect trim and buoyancy while you're going from full-blown speed while Ed is filming you.
Oh my God.
To he'll be like, stop. and you have to stop and not fly up or down. So he wants to make sure that you're not cheating using that DPV
Oh my
to keep you
God.
in trimmer buoyancy, right? Because you could
Oh,
cheat. You could use the DPV pointed up or down to keep you neutral. He doesn't want that. He wants to know that you're neutral and not using that DPV. So he stops you, and then you got to be sitting there, not moving with the DPV. That is hard. And
oh
then
man.
towing Gus while the flow is blowing you out of the cave at the same time, where you got to come around and you're getting blown at the
Oh,
same time. That's not easy. I mean, it
it was
was not
so
easy
hard.
for me.
So
It
hard.
was very, very hard, I thought. Still
So
think.
hard. At Jackson Blue, where we were doing the class, there's so much current. It's like a river. You're swimming against a river. So you're going in, and he's telling you to go faster. So you're going in, like in 6 or whatever, like 6 out of 10 speeds.
Mhm.
And you're going in, and then you have to do a U-turn. And now you're going with the flow, and you're not supposed to lose your position in the water table. So as you're going in, you're kind of like angling your DPV down against the current, and as soon as you turn, it's like whoop, just go up. And so you have to do like this tight U-turn at the end of the cavern, and not lose your trim, like your depth, which is impossible because you're going in and the water is pushing you up. But as soon
So
as you
hard.
turn, it's like it just takes you away. Oh man, it was just
And
so
then
hard.
and on a rebreather, he will make you go up and down on that DPV, flying, going up chimney, back down chimney, all on a rebreather. So you're like trying to control the DPV, and your rebreather up and down is not a friendly thing. We have to change a million things. The loop volume's expanding, the loop volume's contrasting. So you're trying to deal with all this. Your dry suit's expanding, and you got to maintain trim and buoyancy while you're being blown in flow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. Like anybody that would say that's not hard for me,
Ah.
well, you know what? Then you're something special, and I'm horrible because it was very hard for me.
It
I'll
was
tell you
so
that.
hard. And then you see Maddie doing all the skills like inverted. You know,
Yeah, he did the
you're
same
like,
thing, and he would come
what
up
the?
underneath you perfectly on inverted, and you're like,
How?
how come you can do that?
Can't even do it normal,
Yeah.
and he's doing it inverted. Jesus. All right. Let's see. Let's do 3 more questions, and then that's it. How long does it take to become a fully fledged diver like yourselves? It really depends on your commitment and how quickly you pick up the skills. I mean, some people struggle. Some people are super fast. Like I remember teaching my brother, and like on dive number 4, he's looking like somebody that has 50 dives. Like he just picked it up so fast. And then some people are struggle. They would have to do it way more than a regular person to be able to get the skill. I struggle with some skills. I was really good with other skills. So it just really is a personal thing. And I struggle answering that question because it's like the question of how long does a tank last? I mean, it's so broad. Well, what size of the tank? What depth? Who's breathing it? Are you swimming against the current? Like, there's so many variables in here. But if you live at a place where you can dive all the time, it will be faster than living somewhere. Like, if you live in Iowa, it's gonna be harder, I think. Yeah. Are you guys doing the agency change exams personally? Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. We could cross you over, and there's a whole crossover program. I've sent it to Terry, the whole agenda, the syllabus, all the materials, everything. And not that bad, actually. It's really not a big deal if you're already a instructor with another agency. It's going to give you a lot of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do crossover, you can teach anywhere, any place, anytime. And we like that. We're all about that. You guys know that with diving. We don't believe anybody should control diving, if you will. It's something that we think you should be free to do, to teach, whatever,
Absolutely.
anywhere.
All right. Last question. Let's see if anyone has a good question here. Any final questions?
Any of those questions in terms of our programs, our certifications, crossover, or whatever? Terry has become who runs Scuba Girls International, has
Yeah.
become our class ambassador. Would that be the right word, Gus? Our instruction ambassador, whatever. Reach out to her. She can give you all the information, details. She's heading that entire thing up for us.
I'll wrap it up with Brandon's question. How long does a canister of sorb that hasn't been touched already in the unit, how long can it sit there before it goes bad? That's another one that's variable. So, for example, if you get a brand new can of sorb, brand new, and you have it at a place where the temperature is freezing, meaning lower than 32 Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, you can throw it away. It's over. It will last one day. Like as soon as it goes frozen, it's over. It will no longer be effective. So if it's on a perfect condition in a place with no light and it's dry, climate control, nothing is getting into it, it will last for years. I think it's 5 years, they say, or something like that. But it's just really variable depending on conditions. So, all right, Woody, any final words?
Thank you, everybody. We'll be filming more episodes again real soon here, and thank you, everybody, again for all the years of helping us grow and everything. It's really exciting.
Don't forget to enter the contest to win some of these beautiful teeth, right? As I mentioned, we have 5 of them. All you have to do is comment below and tell us if you want to become a cave diver and why. And if you're already a cave diver, why are you a cave diver? Be publicly subscribed to Dive Talk and comment below. We will select a winner later on this month. So typically we do it.
And the Cozumel trip is closed out, right?
Yeah, the Cozumel trip is closed out.
Okay.
Which is
awesome.
Great.
I mean, great.
It's awesome. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, everybody. Take care.